17.1 Power and Authority. Power can be defined as the ability to exercise one will over others. Power affects more than personal relationships. It shapes large dynamics such as social groups, professional organizations, and governments. Authority refers to accepted power, power that people agree to follow. People listen to authority figures because they feel that these individuals are worthy of respect. Traditional authority comes in because it has been around for a long time. Charismatic authority because they feel as though they are drawn to the leader's personal qualities. According to Weber, power made laws, written laws, and helped legal authority happen.
Okay, hey y'all, so I'm going to give a quick spill about different types of forms of government. Monarchy. Monarchy deals with kings and queens, and they have a little small council. You could think, for example, Game of Thrones, monarchy, freely constituted, is mostly agreed upon society. Absolute monarchies, supreme authority, not restricted by written laws. Constitutional monarchy exercises power within an established legal order, so it's very different from absolute monarchy. Oligarchy, held by a small elite group established by military might or economic power, or something within high status. Dictatorship, nobody likes a dictator. There's one single person ruling, and for example, you think of Kim Jong-un, he's a dictator. Totalitarian dictatorship, where there's more oppressive, they control how many kids he has, beliefs, whatever they want to do. Democracy, that's what we are. We provide all citizens equal voice, equal vote. Then to break it down is representative democracy, where you elect certain people within your interests. And to break that down, you could be judicial, legislative, executive, and that just basically sums up the forms of government.
Participation is essential to the success of the United States political system, though statistics show that about half of the population is absent in each election. Voting advocacy groups such as Rock the Vote, Native Vote, and National Council a la Raza reach out to the specific groups to persuade them to vote. Though studies show that more minorities are voting than ever, minorities were historically underrepresented. Black men weren't allowed to vote until after the Civil War, and black women were allowed to vote through the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Discriminatory legislation and literacy tests, which were outlawed in 1965 through the Voters Act, still made it hard for African Americans to vote. Opponents further note that new voter ID laws disproportionately affect minorities and the poor, potentially prohibiting them from exercising their right to vote. Social class also influenced voting practices. Voting rates among lower and middle class people are lower than for people with higher socioeconomic status. That fosters a system in which people with more power and access to resources have the means to perpetuate their political agendas. Some people of low socioeconomic status or minority race or ethnicity doubt their vote will count and their voice will be heard because they have seen no evidence of their political power in their communities. Many believe that what they already have is all they can achieve. Functionalism, a term coined by Emil Durkheim, says the government has four main purposes: planning, directing society, meeting social needs, maintaining law and order, and managing international relations. According to this, all aspects of society serves a purpose. Philosopher and social scientist Karl Marx was a seminal force in developing conflict theory perspective. He viewed social structure rather than individual personality characteristics as a cause of many social problems, such as poverty and crime. Marx believed that conflict between groups struggling to either gain wealth and power or keep the wealth and power that they had is inevitable in a capitalistic society, and conflict was the only way for the underprivileged to eventually gain some measure of equality. Conflict theory focuses on the social inequalities and power difference within a group and analyzing society through this lens. C. Wright Mills elaborated on some of Marx's concepts, coining the phrase power elite to describe what he saw as a small group of powerful people who control much of a society, believing the power elite use government to develop social policies that allow them to keep their wealth. Symbolic interactionism, developed by the works of Max Weber and George H. Mead, pertains to government, focuses its attention on figures, emblems, and individuals that represent power and authority. Symbolic interactionalists are most interested in the interaction between these small groups who make decisions or those who demonstrate the inability to make any decisions at all.